What's up, everybody? Today we are going to break down the 2023 to 2024 Washington Wizards schedule, and we're going to kind of break down the new in-season tournament because I know a lot of people are kind of inquisitive about that. So we're going to break it down this episode next on Locked On Wizards.
You are Locked On Wizards, your daily Washington Wizards podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
What's up, Wiz fans? This is your boy Brandon Scott again with my guy, the real Ed Oliver. Thanks for making Locked On Wizards your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. So we are going to talk about the new 2023 to 2024 Washington Wizards schedule, looking at iconic dates and what games really come out to us. And then we're going to look at the new in-season tournament, how it breaks down and how it affects the Wizards going forward this season. So let's get into it, E. Looking at the 2023 to 2024 schedule, is it really surprising to you that we only got one nationally televised game? And what other key dates and games kind of stand out to you?
No, not at all. I mean, we're projected to be the worst team in the NBA. We're the worst teams in the NBA. We're projected to have a top 5 pick. And so it's not a surprise at all that we get one. Now, we got a couple NBA TV games. I don't consider those national TV games. National TV games to me are ABC and TNT. Those are national TV and ESPN. Those are nationally televised games to me. And it's so funny because the NBA TV game is the Bradley Beal reunion game, or the Bradley Beal coming back to DC game. They didn't even give that an ESPN game or ABC or a TNT. They didn't give it, not even a Tuesday night TNT game. They didn't give it any respect at all. Now, the Jordan Poole, of course, reunion back in Golden State with the whole Draymond Green and Jordan Poole, guess what? That got an ESPN game. They made sure that one is nationally televised. So it kind of tells what the national media thinks. They're not really hyped up about the Bradley Beal reunion to DC. They're more hyped up about Jordan Poole and Draymond Green and that beef that happened or still is going on. So it kind of tells you what the national media thinks about that. So yeah, I'm not surprised at all. And you know, right now there's just a roster. We're in a research and development kind of year, so I don't expect us to win a lot of games either. So I'm not surprised. They're just not a sexy team for national televised games. You see other teams like the Pacers, they only got one national TV game. So there's a lot of teams that only got one. I want to say that the Pistons got one. They only deserve one as well. But games that certainly stand out to me, of course, the Bradley Beal reunion. We saw him at a Drake concert. We already saw how fans responded to him. So when they show him on the Jumbotron or on the big board, we definitely see what kind of reaction he's going to get. Some fans said, "Who is that?" So that was pretty hilarious. We do play the Pacers again in the first game of the season. That we did that last year, so they're not really getting creative with our schedule at all. Of course, we got the in-season tournament, a couple of back-to-backs, of course. Games that I wrote down: Kristaps Porzingis. We play the Celtics. He might not even be available for that game either. Is the thing. I'm trying to pull up the schedule here. Bear with me. When is that game? But that one stood out to me. And then Tyus going back to Memphis for with the Grizzlies. Rui coming back to DC April 3rd. That should be fun. We play against Victor Wembanyama and Jokic back-to-back game. So playing against two really good bigs. Bilal versus Wemby. You know, they both played together last year as teammates. We didn't get to see them play against each other in the summer league. Did Danilo Gallinari has some bad blood with the Celtics? He said, I forgot what he tweeted out about the Celtics, but he said that he wants to get back at the Celtics or something like that. And Monte Morris coming back to DC. You know, Monte Morris had a little back and forth with the fans when saying that one of the fans said that he was going to get traded. He didn't like that at all. And those are some of the games that stood out to me. I already said Tyus with the Grizzlies, his reunion. But other than that, we don't really have any crazy games. We got our normal West Coast road trip, but I'm definitely looking for that. And then we play the Nets. I'm going to put up the schedule right here too, but probably when you're talking, I'll probably find it. But of course, you got the Dinwiddie versus Kyle Kuzma reunion. Of course, when Dinwiddie comes back, he's probably gonna get a lot of boos as well.
Yeah, a lot of storylines, man. A lot of storylines this year, but I'm not surprised either. Just like you said, it shows how the national media kind of feels about the Wizards, and that's cool. I think that is a good thing for this franchise because it's a young team, not a lot of pressure. Just go out and play. We're not really in the state to have nationally televised games anyway, so it's not really a big loss. But I mean, looking at the schedule, man, I'm gonna say this. What I like about the new schedule is that your road trips are no more than 4 games. We have 2 West Coast trips on, and I'm looking at it right now. Let me pull it up real quick. The first one starting December 17th at Phoenix is 4 games. And then the second one is February 12th at Dallas, and that's 4 games. So no more 7-game West Coast trips. It's a reasonable schedule. Like you said, Indiana again. It feels like we played them a couple years. The opening night, but looking at the schedule, I'm now out the gate. Now I know we're not going to be a good team, but out the gate we're going to get tested. You got Memphis, Boston, Atlanta, Miami, and Philadelphia. So that's going to be interesting. But again, I think they made improvements. Like I said, no more than 4 games for a road trip, East Coast or West Coast. So I think there's a big improvement. But the fact that Bradley Beal, the fact that it's not even an ESPN or a TNT game shows you how the national media feels about him as well. Do they really consider him a superstar? I know that was the biggest thing in DC is that, I know that the biggest gripe was, the Supermax, nobody considers him a superstar. I think the fact that the game where he's coming back to DC is not even a nationally televised game says a lot about how the national media views him. So, there's a lot of, but like you said, a lot of storylines. Dinwiddie, that's going to be funny to see Dinwiddie come back, Kuzma, but I think the marquee matchup is definitely Jordan Poole and Draymond Green. I think that's the matchup that everybody's looking forward to. But like you said, it's going to be interesting again how this fan base responds to Bradley Beal. He came back home for a little bit, or not back home, but he came back to DC at the Drake concert with KD, and he did not get the nicest reception. So
right.
A lot of people feel a certain way about how he left. So it's going to be interesting. But yeah, it is what it is. We're not going to be a good team. But, overall, looking at the schedule, man, I do like the fact that, road trips are on more than 4 games. It's just, I think the NBA is trying to make it to where players are getting more rest to a certain degree because they don't want to see these star players doing rest games, because a lot of people pay tickets, they go see a star player, and then for them to sit, it kind of a really bad mark on the NBA. So I think that's a big reason why they're not doing a lot of back-to-backs because we were talking before, man, and looking at the schedule, there's not a lot of back-to-backs. November 12th and 13th is one. But I'm looking at it right now. There's not a lot of back-to-back, so that's another improvement. So, yeah, man. Like I said, there's storylines, but I don't see much noise outside of the Jordan Poole, Draymond reunion, and Bradley Beal come back to DC.
Yeah, we don't have a lot of rivalries. We don't have any rivalries at this point. We're not included in the rivalry week. And we got 3 NBA TV games and 1 national TV game. I know the national TV game that we had last year, they actually kicked us out of that game. They took it away from us. It was against the Hawks. And I can certainly see that happening again. Just looking at, the West Coast road trip. It starts with Phoenix. We play Phoenix. Where is it at? It's so hard to look at the schedule sometimes. Yeah, Phoenix at 8 o'clock on Sunday, 8 o'clock. And then Sacramento at 10, Portland at 10, Golden State at 10 p.m. That's on ESPN. On December 22nd, of course, we don't get a Christmas Day game. We play the day after Christmas. We do get a MLK Day game against Detroit. That is the game where Monte Morris comes back. And we play them at 3 o'clock. And we also play on Easter Sunday. That game is, where's it at? I can look at April. Yeah, I want to say it's April 7th against Toronto at 6 p.m. So we do have a couple of holiday games. And Rui comes back April 3rd. So that is later in the day. And, of course, we got some of the in-season tournament games. That's every Friday, which is the in-season tournament games.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about that next. So because there's a lot of pieces to that. But, yeah, before we move on, man, like I said, the storylines, but looking at Monty Morris, I'm looking at the comments. A shout out to Guru Strong, man. I think his video is gonna be a whole 30 seconds, it's a tribute video. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and move on, man. Like I said before we move, man, it's just not a lot of storylines, but I think that's a good thing for the Wiz, man. Was focused just
Mhm.
on playing. We're not ready for nationally televised games. Was earned that, man. So
Mhm.
I like the schedule. I really do. So we're gonna move on, man. We're gonna talk about and break down the in-season tournament, the new in-season tournament. Before we do, today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Football season is about to kick off, and FanDuel is giving you the chance to win all season long. Because right now, when you bet on the Super Bowl winner, which could be the Commanders, I'm just saying, you can get bonus bets every time you win in the regular season. Just pick any team to win the Super Bowl, and you can get bonus bets for every victory. You can use your bonus bets on spreads, player props, over and unders, and more. So visit fanduel.com/lockedon and start earning bonus bets with America's #1 sportsbook. That's fanduel.com/locked on. So let's get right into it. So this year is going to be the inaugural year for the end season tournament. So I'm gonna go ahead and shout out to Bullets Forever because they kind of broke it down for me to make it real simple for me. So the NBA's inaugural in-season tournament will be taking place the month of November. The Wizards schedule is as follows: November 3rd at Miami at 8 p.m. November 10th at home versus Charlotte. November 17th at home versus New York. Both of them are 7 o'clock games. And on my birthday, by the way, November 24th at Milwaukee at 8 p.m. Each game will take place on Friday in November, so the crowds should be bigger than usual for these games. They count towards the Wizards' regular season schedule. Each conference consists of 3 groups. Now, the Wizards are in Bravo group or B group, which consists of Miami, Milwaukee, New York, and Charlotte. The team with the best record in each group would advance to the knockout round. There will also be one team per conference that finishes in second place, which will be known as a wild card, kind of a baseball thing that will also advance. The semifinals and finals will take place in Las Vegas on December 7th and 9th. And for your information, the Wizards' full 80-game schedule releases today, but it's 80 games because 2 are yet to be determined. So, and before we move on, again, the biggest 2 games they're kind of pointing out is Bradley Beal's return to Washington and Jordan Poole's return to Golden State. But looking at the in-season tournament, what is your opinion of this? Do you think, what do you think is the biggest reason why the NBA wanted to implement an in-season tournament?
Oh, money rules everything around me. You gotta get the money. So it's just what it is. It's kind of like the NCAA where they added. It was 62 teams at one point. It was 64? Then it went to 68. They had the play-in. They had the play-in or whatever they call it, the first 4 in the NCAA, and then of course the NFL they added another team to the wild card. So and then of course the NBA after the bubble they added a play-in tournament. So almost every sport has added something to kind of like add more revenue and more money and more games, more competition. I even think in the WNBA I was watching, it was like the Commissioner's Cup or something like that. It was the Liberty versus the Las Vegas Aces. So that's some type of in-season type of tournament championship kind of thing too. I want to say hockey has something like that too, if I'm not mistaken. I think soccer has something similar to that too in some of the soccer leagues. So it's all about money, man. And I heard they're going to have different jerseys for it. The tournament's going to be in Las Vegas as well. So, of course, they're going to want people to buy the jerseys for the in-season tournament and the TV deals. And, some of the games are going to be nationally televised. I know ours aren't, but I know some other teams' in-season tournament games are going to be nationally televised. And it's in Vegas. Like the semifinals and the finals game is in Las Vegas. I don't know how many people are going to be going. Like, is it going to be empty stands? So we'll see what happens with that. But, yeah, it's all a money grab. It's all a money grab. And they think it's going to make it a little bit more competitive. So some teams that are tanking, they may want to compete harder because there's incentives. I think the champion gets $500,000. Each player on the team gets $500,000. So, it's just a money grab. And I'll be watching, because I love basketball. So I'll be watching anytime the Wizards play, whatever it is, I'll watch. So it's kind of like a play-in tournament or adding another team to the NFL playoffs, kind of similar to that, but not as bad, because it would be crazy if a team that doesn't have a chance to really win a championship in a 7-game series like us, like let's say we have a couple good nights because we're playing every Friday. Let's say we get hot or something like that, and the Wizards fool around and win the in-season tournament. I don't see that happening, but that would be hilarious if somebody like the Hornets or the Spurs or the Blazers fool around and win a couple games in the in-season tournament and get to the in-season championship. Highly doubt that happens, but it would be hilarious.
I'll say this, man. Cash rules everything around me.
There
Cream
you
get
go.
the money, dollar bill, y'all, man.
That's what it is.
They're trying to. I get it. Revenue, something new. Um, at first, I was kind of like, man, what are we doing, man? It reminds me of the NIT in the NCAA basketball. There's a preseason NIT and postseason. Usually, if you're in a postseason, it means you didn't make the NCAA tournament, so it's not the most popular tournament to be in. But I'll say this, man. Business, man. Economics 101, man. Businesses thrive when they add new elements to their business, man. When you're stagnant, you die out. This is if you look at international basketball, a lot of international leagues, they've really made up that gap as far as talent pool, and people are watching a lot of these foreign leagues, the Euro League. So the NBA had to do something to really take a step up and really become that gold standard again. Because again, a lot of these leagues overseas are starting to bring out a lot of talent. So I get the business side of it. I'm very interested to see. Plus, you bring in jerseys. I'm a jersey guy, so I'm kind of happy about that. But I'm willing to give it a try. I wasn't the biggest fan of the play-in tournament. I thought the play-in tournament was a dumb idea. But I mean, if you look at it, especially last season with Miami, now I kind of see the point of the play-in, and I kind of like it. So I think it's one of those things that is new. So I'm gonna give it a chance, but I think it's gonna be cool, man. They're trying to add new dynamics to it, so I totally get what they're trying to do because it's just economics 101, man. You got to add new dynamics to the league, man. So yeah, I mean, just like I said, there's a lot of moving pieces. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I found the pricing or the prize that the players get. Yeah. So if they win the in-season tournament, they get $500,000 per player. If they reach the final game, the championship game, $200,000 per player. You reach the semifinal game, $100,000 per player. If you reach the quarterfinal game, $50,000 per player. So that is really helpful for a rookie or a guy on a two-way contract. Say like who's on a two-way, Eugene and Jared Butler, guys like that. They can easily get $50,000 or $100,000 if the Wizards made it that far. It would help those guys. Somebody like Kuzma or Jordan Poole. I'm not going to say they don't need the money, but of course they're not like, oh man, I can get $500,000. I mean, they'll be happy to get it, of course, but they just got Kuz just got a $25 million deal, and Jordan Poole just got a $28 million deal.
Look, man, 100K ain't gonna last one night at the Rose Bar with Jordan Poole. I'm just saying.
Shout out to John Wall too.
Oh man, shout out to John Wall, man. But I mean, it's something new, man. I'm all about something new. Like I said, at first I was like, man, what are we doing? It just reminds me of the NIT, but then I get it, man. It's something new, especially the jerseys. Because look, here's the thing that people don't realize about the NBA as opposed to the NFL, Major League Baseball, other pro leagues is that the NBA is a fashion league. Shoes, jerseys. There's a lot that comes with it. So I get that. The jersey part I get. So the business part I dig it. And I kind of thought about it. And the more that I talk about it, the more I really like the idea now. But yeah, it's an interesting idea. It really is. And the commissioner, he's trying to add new dynamics too. So I'm with it, man. I definitely like what I see from the in-season tournament. So we'll see how successful it is, how popular it is. Again, another revenue stream. And here's another thing you need to think of before we move on and go to comments, man, is that is bringing exposure to Las Vegas. Because if you look at expansion, which is a big room in the NBA right now, there's two cities they're looking at: Seattle, bring them Sonics back, and Las Vegas. So this is the part of the NBA's effort to try to get Las Vegas, kind of push them into the NBA limelight a little bit. So I definitely get it, man, because I would love to see the Sonics come back, and I would love to see a team in Las Vegas, because it was rumored that LeBron, man, down the road, he would love to be the owner of a team in Las Vegas. So that's another dynamic to look at. But before we get into comments, man, did you want to cover anything as far as the new schedule or in-season tournament?
Just the schedule in general. I guess some teams that I'm looking forward to that I want to see. I do want to see Scoot Henderson. We don't play him until April 5th. So that's really towards the end of the year. The Rockets, we don't play them at home until March 19th. I do want to see one of the Thompson twins. I think they got Amen on the Rockets. I would really want to see him play in person, and Cam Whitmore play in person. But we don't play them until March 19th. So we'll see if they're available. And then there's any other marquee players that I want to see. That's really about it. Just some of the rookies that I'm really intrigued in seeing. Then, of course, Indiana. When we play Indiana, we'll always have that storyline with Bilal and Jarris Walker, since we did make that trade with the Pacers to move up a spot, giving up 2 second-round picks.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. So we're gonna go ahead and move on. We're gonna get into comments. What do you guys think, man? And E, if you see any of them, just go ahead and click on them, man. We'll go ahead.
Yes,
So
sir.
let's start with shout out AJ Rockstar. What's up? What's up? All right, let's see. Good. All right, here we go. Dante Barber said the Wizards have to fight and earn the respect. We would get there. I love that comment, man. Absolutely. There's no pressure, no national televised games, no pressure from young guys. Let's build. We're building this franchise from the ground up. Let's earn that respect. So I definitely agree with that. What do you think?
Yeah, you have to earn it. The Death Row DC team, the 2017-2018 team with John Wall, Marquis, Gortat, Otto, and Bradley Beal, of course, that team had 18 nationally televised games. And they earned it. I mean, that was the team where we went to the second round a year before where John Wall hit the big shot, stood on the table, said this is his house. At the time it was. And we had a good record where we were 49, had 49 wins that season. And John Wall was all NBA player. They earned it. They certainly earned it. They had a good roster at that time. And they deserved it. They deserved 18 nationally televised games. When you make the playoffs, when you're a perennial playoff team at that time, the Wizards were, you deserve national TV games. When you don't make the playoffs 2 years in a row, you win 35 games, back-to-back years, and then you got a lot of young guys that are developing, and the roster is kind of wonky and weird right now. You're just not going to get a lot of national TV games. Even last year, we barely got national TV games. We didn't deserve any either. Just being honest. So you got to earn them.
Yeah, but that's the thing, man. And it kind of rolls into the next comment is AJ Rockstar. I like that we're building from the ground up in the fan base as well. We will have stronger fans in the future. I mean, the thing is that this franchise is often treated as a small market team, but it's not. If you're servicing the DMV, the DC, Maryland, and Virginia tri-state area, man, this is a major market, man. So they're doing all the right decisions, getting rid of bad contracts, brought in a new front office, new additions to the coaching staff, bringing an electric personalities in Jordan Poole, Kyle Kuzma. They're doing all the right things to kind of bring prestige back to DC. I want to see us be treated as a major market. I want to be up there in the future with the Philly, New York, LA. I definitely want to utilize this population we have in the tri-state area, man. So I think that, again, no pressure, but I think that this is definitely a goal to work up to. So.
Oh, 110%. 110%. AJ Rockstar says we've been through a drought. Goose strong. I'm willing to bet Brad he chickens out and won't play with a big injury Castro and Brad telling you some ridiculous, some BS injury. I can see that. I could see that. But either way, he's gonna get that smoke. Either way, from the fans, he's gonna get a lot of smoke from the fans, and they're still gonna show him on the jumbotron or on the big scoreboard. They're still gonna do that, and of course, Ted is gonna give him a tribute. It's going to be a long tribute. So fans are definitely going to react. They are going to react, and he can't hide from it at all.
Oh, Lord, they're going to give him like a 30-minute tribute. They're going to start crying and all that, man.
But I think he's really going to want to play. I think he's going to play. Shout out to Jordan Goodwin, too. I'm going to be excited to see him come back. Isaiah Todd, I don't know if he's still on the roster or not. I want to say they actually waived him, if I'm not mistaken. But, I think he's actually going to want to play. I think he wants to play and kind of show off a little bit, because when people come back to DC who used to play for the Wizards, they try to show off when they come back.
Yeah, I mean, he's gonna get that smoke. He is definitely gonna get that smoke, man. But I guess a small part of me, man, is going to clap, man, because I mean, 10 years, you're always going to think about that backcourt, John Wall. Good times with him, John Wall, Markieff Morris. List goes on, man. There's good memories here in DC with Brad, man. And really shout out, man, because if you look at the fact that, not many players in DC really had that influence off the court. John Wall was well known to do a lot off the court, but Bradley Beal put his work in off the court, man. So I mean, a small part of me, maybe it's that small violin is going to be clapping, but it's just the way he left, man. I get it. Not a lot of people are happy, so he's definitely going to get that smoke.
I have a lot of respect for Brad too. I really do. He has some good years with John Wall. We've seen him improve as a player, one-time All-Star, or we saw him make an All-Star game. We saw him make an All-NBA team. So he did improve as a player in this, and he was a darn good player, darn good shooter. He was a darn good shooter. Put the ball on the floor a little bit. Of course, he had his flaws with turnovers in the clutch and just turnovers in general. But he was a heck of a scorer. He was. But the way he left, of course, just him getting the no trade clause, the keys to the city and everything, just 35 47, 35 47 back-to-back seasons with him as the number one guy. And it's not all of it's not his fault. He took what Ted and Tommy Shepard gave him. So there's not a lot of people that would turn down what Tommy Shepard just gifted and gave to him and Ted Leonsis.
Yeah, I mean, he is what he is, man. He was just not the number one guy. He came in, he did his job as far as being that shooter, being that scorer. It just proven he wasn't that guy, and we know that now, and it is what it is, man. So I definitely wish him well. I wish him well. But it's just time to move on. So let's see. Back to Guru Strong. A lot of teams will sit their stars when they play us. We're the load management team this year. I hope not, man. I'll say this about that. I'm never a big fan of people sitting their players. I'm not a fan of it, man. If Major League Baseball players can go out and play a 162 game schedule, man, where they're often playing 4 games in a row, we can go out and play a couple games. I mean, I've never liked the load management in the NBA, man. Because the thing is, let's be totally honest here. NBA tickets are not the cheapest. When you go out and you spend hundreds of dollars on a ticket and you go out there and the guy's not even playing, that's the issue, man. So I hope not. I hope they really, and looking at the schedule, the fact that there's not a lot of back-to-backs, the road trips are small. I'm hoping they really stem that, man, because I've never been a big fan of load management, man. I get it. You want rest, but again, look at the examples. I mean, the NFL, there's a lot more contact, but in Major League Baseball, they're playing 162 games, man, and where often they're playing stretches where it's 7 games in a row. So I don't buy that, man. Let's see.
Yeah, understand that the in-season tournament will help prevent load management from happening. Because we got the Hornets in our, we're a team that's projected to be bad. The Hornets as well. So teams we're in the same bracket as the Heat. So the Heat, there's a lot of times where Jimmy missed some games, Tyler Hero missed some games. We'll see what their roster's like anyway, because they most likely will get Damian Lillard. But that's just an example of the Heat. They're not going to sit their guys because if they really, really want to win the in-season tournament, that's the NBA way of thinking, that they want teams to be more competitive and have more incentive to play their guys in the middle of the season or some of the dog days of the season because they want to win the in-season tournament.
Yeah. I think load management, man, they really need to stem that, man, and really nip it in the bud. Joshua Jenkins said Wizards and Warriors games is what I'm excited about. Look, I don't know who saw, because me and E were laughing about it. I don't know who saw the trailer for NBA 2K24, but they put it on there. They had Jordan Poole pull up on Draymond doing an ISO and step back 3, man. Even 2K started to start some stuff, man. I thought that was hilarious. No, there's a lot of eyes on that game, man, because Draymond is just Draymond, and Jordan Poole, the fact that, a lot of people just had a lot of nice things to say, Jordan Poole, kind of adds to the fire, because you didn't hear much of Draymond saying nice things, but, Clay coming out. So it's a lot of storylines. I think there's going to be entertaining games. Like you said, E, the Nets game, Dinwiddie, Mr. Crypto himself. There's just a lot of storylines. So we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
See.
Yeah, the Kuzma and Dinwiddie beef on Twitter. Kuzma calling Dinwiddie Din Shiggity.
Yeah, I mean, he was right on too. I'm just saying. Let's see. Victoria Taylor said, looking forward to watching Jordan and Kuz places they will have the Zaggis bucket out there. Wizards might not be really good, but they should. Thank you. They're not gonna be good, but they're gonna be fun to watch. I mean, they're gonna be entertaining. So I mean, I'll take that any day of the week.
Yeah, I think Victoria I think she means not saggiest, but swaggiest. But thank you, Victoria, for the comment.
Absolutely.
But yeah, they definitely will have. Kuzma's gonna have some 30-point games. Jordan Poole, he's going to have a pool party. He's going to have some 35, 40-point games for sure. They're definitely going to be getting buckets. They're going to get a lot of shots up. They're going to have the greenest of green lights and one mixtape tour, a lot of isolation, a lot of buckets between those two.
Yeah, man. I mean, we know what Kuz brings to the table with the fashion, man. But Jordan Poole, man, coming to Chocolate City with all the females they have in Chocolate City, man. I don't know. Man.
He likes to play better for the baddies, as they say.
Yeah, man. Might lose his mind in Chocolate City, man. So we're gonna do a couple more, y'all. Let's see. Let's see. AJ Rockstar said, imagine getting 3 superstars who want to be in DC from free agency. I mean, look, I'm not gonna say this far-fetched. It's just that they're working on the culture, they're working on the procedure of the franchise, they're working on making this a destination city. It's gonna take time. But when you add personalities like Jordan Poole, certain players people want to play with, man. So yeah, I can imagine down the road building this into a destination where we could. That is definitely a goal that I want for this team, and this is definitely something I want for the fan base to see, man. So I want to see that. Let's see. We'll do one more. You see any E?
Well, yeah, about it being a destination city, it's just so tough to the point where a guy who
Yeah.
was born and raised in DC and Kevin Durant, didn't even have a meeting with the Wizards. So that kind of just showed you how rock bottom we were as a destination city. A lot of teams they're not destination cities, until they really draft well and get good players in there. Milwaukee will never be a destination city, but they got Giannis. So they just were able to build and they made good transactions. So sometimes you just gotta construct a team around really the NBA is constructed around trades now, guys wanting out instead of just straight up free agency anyway. That's just kind of how it is. Now, back at the time where KD team hopped to the Warriors, that was probably like the last time, and Kawhi was probably the last big time free agent to just straight up sign with the team. Other than that, it's just a lot of the roster construction has been either through the draft or through trades. But Kevin Durant not showing up to not even having a meeting just show where we were at. And we were good at the time. We had John Wall, Bradley Beal, once again, the death row team. That was one of the best DC teams that we've had in the past, 15, 20 years. So
yeah, but you know why we missed out is because we came up with the wackiest proposition ever, man. We signed Scott Brooks like that was gonna be the one factor that's gonna bring KD. You know what I mean? Like, come on, man, really? That's it? Oh, we really did not even make an effort, man, and that's why he just said, man, really. So we're gonna do two more comments. Then there's a couple that are similar. Jerry Reed said the Wiz kids need a legit big man. Gafford is a solid backup, not a starter. And Joshua Jenkins, kind of same thing. We need another big. I'm concerned about the center position. I think we all are, bro. I agree. I'm a big Gafford fan. Actually, that's my guy. But long term, yeah, we definitely need to find that center of the future. Now, Gaff, he's got some things to work on, but I think he's gonna do good in starting these couple years of the rebuild. But long term, I feel you. And I know that I'm gonna pull up one more comment real quick, E, because I know he asked us a question a couple of times. Will we lose the draft pick if we make the playoffs per the Westbrook trade? Yes, I believe it's what is it? Is it top 12 or top 8? Top 12. Okay. Yeah, so if we're a playoff team, you can say goodbye.
Yeah, you might as well just keep it. You might as well just lose and keep the pick rather than getting the 8th seed or making a play-in and getting swept by the Bucks or the Sixers or the Heat getting swept by one of the top teams in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, but it is what it is. So we're gonna go ahead and roll out, guys. Definitely appreciate y'all showing up, man. The excitement's in the air. New schedule release. So, man, the season is coming fast. The NFL season's here, so not far behind it is the NBA season. So definitely appreciate you guys. Thank you for making Locked On Wizards your first listen every day. Every day is tomorrow, or rather next week. We potentially have a couple of special guests, but one of them is Greg Feinberg of Bullets Forever. So we're definitely going to have some good content leading up to training camp, and we're going to do some mailbags. So definitely send us your best questions because we're going to answer a lot of your questions regarding rotations and potential. So we're going to do a lot of chopping up leading up to training camp and the preseason. So definitely like, subscribe, hit the notification button when the videos come out. Definitely let us know because we're putting a lot of dope content out wherever you get your podcast. A 5-star review is much appreciated. So hail to the Wizards and peace. See y'all later. See y'all next time, man.